I stared at my reflection in the hospital bathroom mirror, adjusting my nurse's uniform for the third time. Another 12-hour shift done, but I couldn't go home yet. Tonight was the dreaded monthly family dinner, where my career choice would once again become everyone's favorite topic of ridicule. My phone buzzed, Mom's reminder, don't be late like last time. And please wear something nice, not your work clothes. Your brother has big news to share. Yes, Marcus. The golden child. The successful surgeon who could do no wrong. I checked my bag, making sure the manila envelope was still there. My hands trembled slightly as I touched it, knowing its contents would change everything. The family dinner was at our parents' suburban home, the same house where Marcus and I grew up. Same decor, same family photos on the walls. Though nowadays Marcus's medical school graduation photo dominated the living room. My nursing school graduation picture was somewhere in the hallway, probably behind a plant. Sarah, you're finally here, Mom called out as I walked in. She frowned at my appearance. Couldn't you have changed? 12-hour shift, Mom. Barely had time to breathe, let alone change. The dining room was already full. Dad at the head of the table, Marcus and his wife Jessica to his right, our younger sister Emma and her husband on the left. All of them in their perfect business casual attire, looking like they stepped out of a catalog. Still working those long shifts? Marcus smirked. You know, if you'd finished medical school instead of dropping out for nursing, you could have normal hours like me. I bit my tongue, remembering the envelope in my bag. Not yet. Let them have their moment first. Speaking of careers, Dad cleared his throat. Marcus has some exciting news. Marcus stood up, straightening his designer tie. I've been appointed as the new head of cardiology at Metropolitan Hospital. Youngest department head in their history. The table erupted in congratulations. Mom wiped away proud tears, Dad beamed, Emma clapped enthusiastically. I pushed my food around my plate, waiting. This calls for champagne, Dad announced, heading to the wine cellar. So Sarah, Jessica turned to me, her voice dripping with fake sympathy, still enjoying basic patient care? Must be frustrating, Marcus added, watching real doctors make the important decisions while you just follow orders. I took a slow sip of water. Actually, I find my work very fulfilling. Speaking of patient care, how's Mrs. Anderson doing? The color drained from Marcus's face. What? Eleanor Anderson admitted 3 weeks ago? Routine valve replacement that turned complicated? Ring any bells, doctor? How do you? Marcus stammered. Dad returned with the champagne, but stopped short at the tension in the room. What's going on? I reached into my bag and pulled out the manila envelope. Funny thing about being just a nurse. We notice everything. We're there 24/7 monitoring patients, catching mistakes, documenting errors. Sarah, Marcus warned, but his voice shook. Mrs. Anderson coded on my shift last week. I continued, opening the envelope. While reviewing her chart, I noticed some interesting discrepancies in her pre-op assessments. Specifically the ones you signed off on, Marcus. The room went deathly quiet. Mom's hand froze midway to her champagne glass. Dad slowly sat down, the bottle forgotten. You wouldn't, Marcus whispered. I spread the documents on the table. 3 missed indicators for potential complications. 2 medication interactions you overlooked. All documented, all signed by you. Mrs. Anderson nearly died because you were too busy planning your department head announcement to do your job properly. I can explain, Marcus started, but I wasn't finished. The only reason she's alive is because her nurse, Amy, noticed her declining stats and called a code blue. While you were at your celebration dinner, I was doing chest compressions on your patient. Jessica grabbed Marcus's arm. Honey, what is she talking about? I stood up, gathering the documents. The hospital board might be interested in these files. Especially since you're about to become department head. Or, the story continues in part 2. Would you like me to proceed with writing it? Marcus lunged across the table, reaching for the documents, but I stepped back quickly. Years of maneuvering through crowded hospital corridors had made me nimble. Sarah, please. His voice cracked, all the earlier arrogance gone. You don't understand what this could do to my career. Oh, I understand perfectly, I replied, my voice steady. Just like you understood every time you belittled my career choice. Every time you mocked my basic patient care, while nearly killing your patients through negligence. Dad stood up, his face red with anger. This is ridiculous. Marcus is a brilliant surgeon. There must be some mistake. I pulled out my phone and played a voice recording. Mrs. Anderson's weak voice filled the dining room. That nurse, Sarah. She saved my life. The doctor never listened when I told him about my medications. Mom's champagne glass slipped from her hand, shattering on the hardwood floor. Nobody moved to clean it up. I have more, I continued. The Thompson case from last month. The Wilsons from the cardiac unit. It's amazing what patients tell their nurses, especially when their doctors are too busy promoting themselves to listen. Emma, who had been silent until now, spoke up. But Marcus, you always said being department head was about improving patient care. It was, he snapped, then caught himself. It is. She's just jealous. She couldn't handle medical school, so now she's trying to ruin my success. I laughed, but there was no humor in it. I didn't drop out of medical school, Marcus. I chose nursing. I chose to be the person who spends more than 5 minutes with patients. Who notices when their breathing changes, when their medications aren't working, when they're afraid but won't tell the almighty doctor. Jessica stood up, gathering her designer purse. Marcus, what's really going on? Are these accusations true? For the first time in his life, Marcus looked small. His shoulders slumped, the familiar arrogant smile gone. Jess, I can explain. Explain what? I interrupted. How you rush through patient assessments. How you ignore nurses' concerns because we're beneath you. How you falsify documents to cover your mistakes. Dad slammed his fist on the table. Enough. Sarah, you're just trying to hurt your brother because you're jealous of his success. I want you out of this house. Fine, I said calmly, tucking the envelope back into my bag. But first, let me share some more news of my own. You know that new patient safety initiative the hospital board has been developing? The one they're implementing across all departments. Marcus's head snapped up. What about it? I'm leading it, I said, watching their faces carefully. Turns out all those years of basic patient care taught me something about keeping people alive. The board appointed me last week as Director of Patient Safety and Quality Assurance. The silence was deafening. Mom sank into her chair, Dad's face went from red to pale, and Marcus looked like he might faint. That's right, I continued. Starting next month, every department head reports to me regarding patient safety protocols, including the new head of cardiology, assuming he still gets the position after my review of his cases. You can't do this, Marcus whispered. Actually, I can. And I will unless. Unless what? He asked desperately. I pulled out another document from my bag. Unless you sign this. It's your resignation from the department head position, citing personal reasons. You'll maintain your current role as a staff surgeon, under strict supervision. You'll also enroll in the hospital's remedial patient care program, the one you called beneath you last month. This is blackmail, Dad sputtered. No, this is accountability, I corrected him. Something this family seems to have forgotten about. Jessica grabbed the document, scanning it quickly. Sign it, Marcus. Sign it now. But my career. He protested weakly. Your career. Jessica's voice rose. You almost killed people. Sign the damn paper. With trembling hands, Marcus signed. The mighty surgeon brought low by his nurse sister. One more thing, I said, pulling out my phone again. I'm in charge of restructuring the hospital's nursing program. We're implementing new protocols, better working conditions, and... I paused for effect. Equal representation in all medical decisions. No more doctors ignoring nurses' concerns. I picked up my bag and headed for the door, then turned back one last time. When Mom? I won't be able to make it to next month's family dinner. I'll be too busy with my new position and my basic patient care. The next few weeks were a whirlwind. Marcus started his remedial training, humbled and quieter than I'd ever seen him. The hospital board fully supported my initiatives, especially after reviewing the cases I'd documented. Jessica filed for divorce, unwilling to stay married to someone who'd risked patients' lives for his ego. But the biggest change was in our family dynamics. The photos in the hallway were rearranged. My nursing graduation picture now hung prominently beside Marcus's medical school photo. Dad stopped making comments about real doctors, and Mom, Well, Mom started telling her friends about her daughter, the director of patient safety. One evening, as I was leaving the hospital after implementing another successful safety protocol, I received a text from Marcus. "You were right. I'm sorry. Thank you for stopping me before I hurt someone else." I smiled, remembering all those years of being the failed sister who chose nursing. Sometimes the best success stories don't come with a prestigious title or a corner office. Sometimes they come with the quiet satisfaction of knowing you did the right thing, even when everyone else thought you were wrong. As I walked to my car, my nurse's badge catching the setting sun, I thought about Mrs. Anderson, now fully recovered and back home with her family. About the countless other patients whose lives were touched by basic patient care. About the new generation of nurses who would work in a hospital where their voices mattered. Maybe I hadn't failed after all. Maybe I'd succeeded in the most important way possible, by staying true to my calling, even when my own family couldn't see its value. And now, finally, they understood that sometimes the biggest impact comes not from those who stand in the spotlight, but from those who work quietly in the background, keeping everyone else alive. The next morning, I walked into my new office, the words, Director of Patient Safety and Quality Assurance, freshly painted on the door. On my desk was a small gift basket, from the nursing staff. The card read, "Thank you for showing everyone what nurses can do." I smiled, pinned my nurse's badge to my lapel and got to work. After all, there were patients to save, protocols to implement, and a whole hospital culture to change. And this time, everyone was listening to the nurse.